Hey guys, I'm AJ.
I'm Shanique.
I'm Tazi.
So in 2018, we quit our jobs to travel the world and live a freedom lifestyle.
We wanted to share our journey with you.
So welcome to the family.
Hey family, welcome back to another video. Shanique here.
And you don't know, say, Alio this, otherwise known as AJ. You come for the excitement, you don't get the excitement.
This guy is excited.
Of course.
And he has every reason to be,
Yes.
because this is an important interview for us, another Black Brits abroad. We haven't seen these people in front of us for
It's
what
like
feels like, right? Too long, man. Too long. We love these people. I'm gonna hand over straight to them and let them introduce themselves.
Over to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bridget Aptar.
I'm Michael Aptar, and we are the Aptar family. And I'm very happy to be interviewed by such a lovely couple, Shanique and Alio, whom we had the pleasure of meeting in the flesh when you guys came to Ghana.
That's it.
And yeah, ready to answer your questions about our experiences as Black Brits abroad.
Yes, man.
Perfect. So yeah, we were in Ghana from June last year, June 2021, until end of October.
Yeah.
So for about 4 months.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were fortunate to be able to meet Bea and Michael in that time, spend time with them and their beautiful children as well.
My children, them too, you know.
And yours too, of course.
So this is an honor. This is honestly an honor for us.
Man.
We're grateful to have you with us.
Thank you. You're going to hear some patois in this, basically Jamaican dialects, but you don't know. You can understand. Hopefully understand.
You'll put in subtitles.
We might have to do that.
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
true. I'll try and translate if need be as well. All right, let's get straight to it then. So now you've just announced you're living in Ghana, and I think we can clearly see that by the amazing attire that you have on as well. You guys are looking so good. I love it. So tell us more. How did you get here? What brought you to deciding that the UK maybe wasn't for you and you were going to consider a life outside of the usual?
Okay, so I was born in Jamaica and I left Jamaica at the age of 7 to be with family in the UK. Raised in the UK, but all along I am very pro-Africa and always knew in my heart of hearts, Marcus Garvey, wanted to go back to Africa and see what Africa in its entirety was all about. We visited a few different African countries and came here, and I speak for myself, my heart, I just fell in love with Ghana. But you can go into further details.
So yeah, for me, I think what sparked the move, I would say similar to Bridget, whilst I was born in the UK, and there's elements I love about it, there's people I really love in the UK, but it was never fully home, never fully the full ticket, I didn't tick all of the boxes for me. And thankfully, traveling from young, you get to see what those boxes look like in other countries. So before I even met my wife, it was my mission to move and live abroad, live in Africa, because we were of the same accord. It kind of worked. But then as for Ghana, I was invited to speak here at a conference in Ghana. They're the first data protection conference in Ghana. So that was my initial reason to come here. And it was the exposure I got to what they say, the Akwaba spirit here, which means welcome. It's strong, and it often can be, genuine. And people just friendly, welcoming you into the home, welcoming you into their phone book. So we loved it. I loved it. So the next year I was invited to speak again. I said, I have to show wifey and the family wagwan, because if they feel it the way I'm feeling it, then we have to try a thing, you know?
We got to take it.
And the funny thing is, we felt a connection to West Africa and to Ghana. We've got so many, even this beautiful dress I'm wearing, I was gifted this dress whilst I was still in university from a uni friend of mine who's Ghanaian. What? And so we've always had a connection to Ghana and Ghanaians, and we came here and it was absolutely everything we thought it would be. A lot of what we thought it would be, it was.
I hear that. Wow. Yeah, man.
And so when was that first visit, when you first came and fell in love with Ghana?
2016, I came alone, and then 2017 with the family.
That's it.
2017. And then, so that was 2017. And then how do you then come to the decision that, all right, we're done. Done with the UK.
That's it.
Ghana is where it is.
Go on.
Okay, so I think we were ready. We were ready. I mean, that at that point in time, to be completely honest, in fact, it was back in 2016 or maybe towards the end of 2015. I run my own business, been doing so for 14 years now. But at that point, things were slow. And I was looking at generating new business opportunities, and I was focused on the UK because that was where I was used to doing things. And one day I sent over 214 messages, I remember, out on LinkedIn to different connections. I made one connection for a piece of business in the UK, but it just wasn't enough progress. And this was in one afternoon. And my wife came over and she said to me, look, why don't you get in contact with somebody that will appreciate you and perhaps respect you a bit more than what you're getting where you are. So she handed me a link to someone who, was instrumental in the space that I work in. And I hit her up on LinkedIn. I just literally wanted to see what the landscape was like. I wasn't looking for anything more than that. And she said she happened to be organizing a conference and needed speakers if I could send my CV, which I did. And I think literally within a week, I had tickets in my inbox, and, they booked my hotel, and I came out and was just shown mad love, from the immigration officers in the airport through to every element that I experienced. It feels as though people genuinely want you to like and enjoy Ghana, and people will stop if you've got a flat tire, or thankfully, we don't go hungry, but you get the impression if you could go and ask somebody for food and they're not going to look at you like you're a beggar. You know what I mean? So it's just had that beauty to it.
And just to piggyback off what Michael said, it was literally that, to go somewhere where you're appreciated it's not a matter of special treatment. It's a matter of he has the qualifications, he has the experience, he has the skill, and that's what he was judged on.
Yes.
That's beautiful. But in the UK, it's a whole heap of layers. So I understand that. I love the fact that you got to experience that, and then based on what you mentioned and how you then went and put yourself out there, and then seeing that opening just suck you in and just give you a nice embrace. I like that. Yeah, man.
So how did your family react to the idea of you leaving everything behind to start a new life in Ghana?
So my mom has always wanted to come. She's never been to Africa, but she's always wanted to come. She lives in the US now, but she was immensely and is immensely proud of us for what we've done. So that makes me feel
that's nice.
a bit soaked up when I think of that. So I'm happy about that.
That's nice.
I would say I had, full support from my core family who know me well, and they've known since the age of 13, 14, 15, 16, right throughout. I've been talking about Africa nonstop. I've made some people even sick hearing me talk about it. So it cannot have come as a shock to anybody. If it did, they wasn't listening to me.
Didn't know.
I would say, as I said, most were happy, excited. There were one or two who had their own apprehensions. And I think that was more based upon, I love them to pieces, but their ignorance. They haven't been to Africa, let alone Ghana. They had bought into the stories that they were told as children under colonial rule about what Africa and Africans are. And then obviously the media portrayal as well. So, I did get a few be like, oh, please be careful. And what about your vaccine? And what about it's danger and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, when I was going to Brooklyn, nobody said to me, be careful, like watch where you're moving and or when I go to this place or that place, or I'm in the, the ghetto in Kingston.
Exactly.
Oh, no, tell a lie. People were telling me. But that wasn't a good example. But you get where I'm coming from. And there was even one who said, nobody tell me about Africa, them sell we out and whatnot. So there was some of that. But I think and I hope that from what they've seen and witnessed through our lived experience, they can now, look at life with a bit more of a broad, informed picture.
Yeah. Nice. So what does a typical day look like for you if such a thing exists?
Is there a typical day right now? Honestly, that is an interesting question. There is the 9 to 5. We're homeschoolers. So between homeschooling the children, we're also trying to set up ourselves with whether it be charitable works and whatnot, and we're building a property here. So there isn't, really, to be completely frank, there isn't actually a typical day as yet.
I'd agree. The one thing I would say though is what is different than the typical day, let's say in London or wherever else, where we were living in Surrey in the UK, would consist of work, followed by you have a meal, followed by you look outside and think, it's a bit cold and grey out there. Let's just stay inside and find a movie to watch, kind of thing. Not to say that, all the time. You get 2 weeks at least in a year where you get some summer, you can get to enjoy yourself. But here, for us, once the work day is done, which to be honest, we work probably fewer hours, and we can then get up and go. We started horse riding with the family. We can
wait. You start what?
Horse riding.
Yeah. Beach. Sunset and sunrise.
So like on a Friday, I try to keep my diary clear. We'll go early to the beach, go for a horse ride, go up in the mountains, go for a walk. Go if once a month or twice every other month or so, we'll have a short staycation somewhere in Ghana, go to a nice little eco lodge or something like that. And there's just lots to do in that sense. There's a party life and scene here. I've got my friends, my day one friends in the UK, but we lived, there was distance, and there was also everybody's hustling. Everybody's trying to make ends meet. So we would buck up when it's our children's birthdays and maybe one of our birthdays. Here, there's nights where I'm like, boy, I'm too tired to go out, and I've got 2 different invitations to go to different party. I could go out every night, but so it's nice. There's a social scene here that's strong as well.
Nice. That's nice. No, it's a work-life balance then.
Definitely.
Well, if you're riding horse, there must be a work-life balance.
No, you know what? It's nice, and it makes it easy because there are so many people who are looking for the same thing as you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I find it a bit much easier to find your tribe.
Well, I'm pretty sure people are gonna be living vicariously through you guys and be following the journey through you guys as well to open their eyes to and look at things from a different lens to say, wait, I want to ride horse as well.
It's funny you should say that. Where I grew up in Northwest London, weekend times to get us out of the concrete jungle we lived in, my mum would take us often to Hyde Park. And anyone that knows London knows Hyde Park. You will find horse riders in there. And I saw horse riding and horse riders as being something for rich white people.
Yeah.
Because I only ever saw white people on the horses, and it was far, far removed from my reality. So even, when I looked into it in the past, when we were in Surrey, I could have afforded it, but we had plans and that wasn't aligned with it. And the type of money you would have had to spend here, we could have an hour on a horse and spend £5 per horse. So it's actually affordable. So where it might, for someone else, look and say, oh, look at them horse riding and blah, blah, blah. It might seem grander than what it actually is.
True.
Yeah.
And to be honest as well, that's from our perspective.
Of course,
Of course.
Yeah. So touching on finances then, because I'm sure you get the question as much as we do. People want to know how can you afford to live this amazing lifestyle? I want to do what you do. How do you do it? I know Michael, you mentioned you run your own business. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so essentially I have a team of people with lawyers, some of us lawyers by background, some technologists, cybersecurity specialists, clients all around the world, operating in 150 different countries. And we basically help businesses to understand what they can and can't do with people's, not just businesses, governments as well, what they can and can't do with consumer or citizen data. And then we also help them to keep it secure from cyber attacks effectively, in a nutshell.
And very relevant for today. Very relevant for today.
I wonder what the landscape is. When it's moved past a physical landscape for you to a digital and now to a meta landscape, because the way how things are moving in this industry, I want to see where things are going to go, because there's so much loopholes and security that needs to be taken in consideration in regards to like meta that's coming into play and all that stuff. Apologies, you might hear some noise.
Okay.
Some people are drilling.
They literally started like right before you guys came. I'm like, really? Now? Now?
So basically, the future looks great for your industry, I would say. It is. It's very topical. It's very current. Things aren't looking like they're going to change. People are becoming increasingly dependent upon data and digital, the internet, and so on and so forth. And once you're online, there's a risk. And once you're using people's data, there's compliance hoops that you need to jump through. So, yeah.
Nice. And what about you, B? What are you working on these days?
So I think one of the beautiful things about coming here is it's actually given me the opportunity I full-time homeschool the children, but I'm being able to take on even more tutors now and then free myself up. So I do have some ideas in the pipeline that I'm working towards, from spending the past probably about year or so, just seeing what is necessary and what the environment can do with and what would align well with myself. And definitely within the travel industry, the wellness travel industry, that's where I'm looking to develop a program for women to empower themselves and support each other So that's pretty much what I'm developing right now.
Voila. The way you just casually slide all of that in. First and foremost, the way I am a mother homeschool. Listen, homeschooling children is a big task, you know. I look at this, listen, the patience level you must have not to have the gray hairs that I have coming up on me. Immaculate. It is phenomenal what you are doing. Homeschooling and having the patience is a humongous task. So casually sliding it in there. Listen, no, family, that is a big thing. So
Definitely.
Full respect to you, and you're verging into bringing on more tutors. So that's massive. What does that look like in terms of the future? What are you trying to achieve with that, if you don't mind me asking?
Sorry, with the homeschooling or with the business?
With the homeschooling, bringing on more tutors. You say you want to bring on more tutors.
So we already have a few tutors in maths and English and music, looking to bring on science tutor and maybe languages as well. And thankfully, the tutors that we have right now, they are amazing, impeccable. One of our tutors, she was doing debating with the children, and she has basically, she's on secondment, we will say right now. She's finishing up her law degree, and so she was bringing all of that to the table. Another tutor, the English tutor, she's also doing her law exams. So they're bringing those types of skills to the table. I think both of us, the agreement is that we've always homeschooled our children. We went to homeschool conventions before we ever had children. We were these little 23 and 24-year-olds. We went and sought out our mentors in that realm. And thankfully, we have that strong community from the UK, and we've tried to replicate that over here. The goal is to ensure that whatever stage the children are at, they are able to, should they decide to go into the school environment, they are able to be confident and have the skills and the mindset that they need. And at present, it's been going really well for them. They're 7 and 9, and they've both decided that, well, I think our son wants to go to university. Our daughter is happy to enter the education system when she's in college. And they're about 2-3 years ahead of their peers so far. So it's all looking feasible. We measure it according to certain statistics, but we don't pressurize them with that. It's about pulling out that knowledge that you have from within and teaching them how to learn. So far, it's been working wonderfully for us.
Fantastic.
Lovely. Now, I can believe that they are well ahead of their current age, because
someone will meet them.
Hey, they're so smart. They are and so polite. They're truly beautiful children.
As is your daughter, as is Taj, definitely.
Our daughter.
Right. Yeah, let's get it right.
All right, so let's talk a bit more about living in Ghana itself. How does it feel living in a majority Black, majority melanated country?
So I would say where you can be in an environment where it's not the majority, not exclusively, but my experience have been particularly in Europe and in America, where there's just racism is rife. It can be very subtle, very nuanced, very covert in times, and sometimes very in your face. That's not something we face here. So it was probably the biggest thing that made us unhappy elsewhere that is no longer. And day to day, I would say the level of respect that you're treated with it's notable. Whether you're being spoken to by a younger, they're going to call you uncle, they're going to call you auntie, they're going to treat you with that, afford you with that level of respect, through to the police. If you have standard checkpoints here, you have armed police come and stop you, but they salute me and call me boss and say, I'm here tonight to serve you. Is everything okay? So on and so forth. So I'm used to being, you fit the description of someone that's been either committing robberies or selling drugs, or is this your car, sir? Or any, you name it, all sorts of, I need to watch my language, but all sorts of reasons that they give for why they've chosen to stop you. It happened to me as a young boy. It happened to me as a man. It happened to me when I was even practicing law, working for both defense and the Crown Prosecution Service. That did not stop them from seeing me as, a target. Here, I don't experience that. Here, people will call my wife, Madame. Here, if we're going, remember when we went walking with you guys up the mountains that day, the amount of people that stopped our children and we said, oh, you have such wonderful children, beautiful children. You just feel welcome. You could be in a place like London, New York, Birmingham, Paris. Somebody wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire in certain cases. I'm not saying everyone is like that, because you've got some decent people everywhere. But on a whole, no, not on this level.
Yeah. So in terms of the vast majority of encounters, there's a lot more respect and a lot more humanity with the people and the experiences that you have there. Because when we're coming down, remember the group of people that were running and dancing and singing and come down, everybody was saying hello to everybody. I love that. Just greet them, because from a Jamaican point of view and Jamaican upbringing as well, when we were growing up, right, it was taught to us that you see people wake up in the morning, say somebody good morning to them, hello. Walking at somebody's shop, going at somebody's car without greet them. But going to London, I remember very clearly at 13 years old, stepping outside of my house for the first time. I said hello to a woman. She punched her back. I'm like, I looked behind me, that someone was behind me. So, and when I was in Ghana, just the level of, you see me, I see you. Wagon, you good?
Yes.
Alio, when I came to England, I was 7 years old, and I remember this so distinctly. It was imprinted on my soul. Walking to school in the mornings, I would say, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, because that's instilled in me that have respect and manners, especially for elders. And I remember you'd have some people who'd look at me like, oh, that's cute. And you'd have people who would just ignore me. So then you learn to not do that, because you don't want to feel as though you don't want that that feeling as though you're nothing. But then you realize that over time, the more you continue walking through and you're not, people don't even have to verbally assault you on a daily basis, calling you the N-word, this. Just not feeling seen is detrimental to the soul. And maybe the main thing here is that you're seen, you're acknowledged. Today, I stopped the car, there was a small girl wanting to pass, wanting to cross. And it's something that we've seen here that we have taken on, where someone will stop the car, they'll wave their hands down to tell everybody behind them, stop, don't come around me, and allow that person in front of them to pass. Just each other like human beings. My son is a small boy here. He's not IC1. He's not stereotype. He's just a small boy growing. And I love that, because then they don't have to deal with people not like me just for being me. They can just be themselves.
Be a kid. Be a kid.
Oh, nice. So have you guys been back? Wait, when did you actually officially move to Ghana?
October 2020.
2020. Oh, so kind of right in the heat of the
when the borders opened, we
took
arrived.
the opportunity.
Yeah.
Don't blame me.
Madam said, Yo, we are.
So we are called.
God. Okay, so I was going to ask if you've been back to the UK since. Have you?
I'm actually going next week, and that will be the first time back.
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you feeling about going back?
I'm looking forward to seeing my family and friends.
Of course. But it's just a short trip. It's not for
In and out. Yeah, I actually have I had some paperwork to sort. I won't bore you with the details. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing my family.
Yeah, because the lawyers, we got the paperwork, you know, so you got something to do. I got you.
No, the reality is I could have done it remotely. It would have taken a bit longer, but I haven't seen my grandmother since like in the flesh before the lockdown happened, and two of my sisters have had babies as well. So they're the priorities for me to, make sure I come and show love.
Yeah, man.
So is there anything that you're missing from the UK?
I was saying to Michael the other day that there are a few personal items that lots of people find difficult to get here. So underwear, Ghana-made brands. I'm very strong on buying from wherever it is that you are. I'm very strong on building up that economy, and we try our best to get everything from here. But to be honest, there's nothing that I can think of that we need that we can't get here.
Right.
No, I think, there's certain realities. It's not miss as such. I think there's just certain realities. When you have a country that has developed itself off the back of other nations, it will have certain things in place. There's certain infrastructure that's there. There's certain processes that work very well. You can, if you need to get something done, more often than not, you can go online and get it done. Here, it may mean taking a day or half a day out to go and physically sit in an office. That's not ideal, but the reality is when you get to that office, you're going to be greeted well, treated with respect and so on. So it's not a complaint. It's just certain things will not happen as quickly as what you're used to. But the flip side is it makes you relax a bit more. It makes you a bit less stressed and wound around the clock. But the frustrating element is sometimes there's just certain things you want to get done quickly, and you just might not necessarily be able to do that.
But there's also the fact that if you allow technology to control everything, you miss out on the human element.
True.
When you go and sit down in front of someone, you realize that this is what actually holds up the society. This is why there is a Kwaba. This is why people are welcoming, because you have to go and sit down and speak to a human being to get things done. If you just had to do it at a press of a button, the society wouldn't be as cohesive and as welcoming. So you have to take the trade-off and overstand.
Yes.
I like that way of thinking. It definitely makes you appreciate life more and what you have. And I think sometimes you have it a bit too easy in the UK, and it makes you lazy, impatient, unappreciative. So that, sometimes we do have these struggles when we move to these other countries, and we're thinking, why am I really struggling to settle or to become accustomed to the way things are? And it's just because, unfortunately, like you said, because of the way that these countries have established themselves, we're expecting things to be done in a certain way. But actually, when you think about the way that our ancestors did things and lived their lives, this is more what we should be going back to. This is more what we should be focused on. So have there been any cultural shocks for you guys, or anything that you found a little bit difficult?
Okay, so for me, and I've got my head around it now, and I understand it. There's a word you guys will have heard, and anyone that comes here is called abroni. Now, the technical translation in tree means the one that came from over the horizon. So a traveler. But colloquially, with every day-to-day kind of people, perhaps people that may not have the highest attainment level of knowledge of the world and history and what's happened, they interpret it not as the one who comes from over the horizon. They interpret it as white man. So for me, growing up, having experienced, in my opinion, oppression and discrimination on the basis of, you know, my so-called ethnicity, to come here and to, in some instances, not all, as I said, this will be maybe just 2 nights ago, I was coming back from the mountains from a friend's house and the policeman stopped me. But as he saw my face, this big smile, he said, "Oh, white man." So it wasn't a negative. In his mind, it's like, wow, there's this foreigner. So he wasn't like what I heard in Romford or Dagenham, "Oi, nigger." Yeah. It's like he was excited to see me, but I'm thinking, actually, this is new to me. You know what I mean? So it's that initially I was kind of pushing back and like, listen, who you talking to? You have to know yourself. But I just realized, you know, it's down to what people know and understand, and it's not
lost in translation almost.
Yeah, it's lost in translation.
And I guess, although, forgive me, my face will not change. My face expressions, they are there will forever. However, I experienced it as well. And because we may have attained a certain level of knowledge through research and through being exposed to the wider historical events that has happened over the years, and having gone through a process of learning, and what that learning means brings up a lot of emotions, then going through to the healing part, to then be in a place where we are like, the majority is us, to being looked at from the mirror, and that reflection saying, white man, it at first can definitely, as you said, take you back, but being there and with your understanding of how things work, you're like, wait, it's similar to, there's a different person here that you're not, I know you're not typically from here. I'm actually quite interested, from my perspective, quite interested in how you see things, that you can look at it like that, how you see things, how you are, oh, you're different. I know you're different, you're not from here, but it would be appreciated if their knowledge can raise up to a certain point where they're like, all right, I know I see you come back home. You're different. I'm intrigued from that point of view, rather than using the...
No, absolutely. And it's a valid point. And that's why I want to be very clear. This is not everyone. No, we can't generalize. You'll speak to somebody and you'll say, oh, they say, what brings you to Ghana? And you explain, you know, we're coming here, we're exploring our heritage, our roots, and so on. They will stop you and say, well done, welcome. And you'll see the smile, they're happy. And they know, because they may or may not have traveled, but they've read, they've watched the documentary, they know we exist. And in some cases, you know, they may have even been taught by a good teacher in school that this is, you know, this is the reality. But we're not there yet. Ghana has only just recently made it free, senior, you know, high school education universally. So it's going to take some time for that knowledge, you know, base to build up, and people are getting more and more exposed. So I think in time, and the more of us that return and the more of us that interact and actually educate them as well as educate ourselves, is the more it will become,
That's the thing that I realized when we got here, is that there is ignorance on both sides, and there is a wealth, a font of knowledge on both sides. And it's not to see our African brothers as other. There's so much that we can teach each other, and there's so much that we can learn from each other. And it's to respect that. It's to come here and not think that because you've lived in the US or the UK or anywhere else outside of Africa, that you know better. Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? Because that ignorance, it doesn't do anything more than cause more divide. When you sit down and you share your knowledge, you share your understanding, I found that people are generally very honest, and they'll be willing to say the things that they did not know. There are some people, the reality is we can take it because we're so inundated with social media and data and information. We tend to think that everyone else has that at fingertips. Lots of people don't have that. There are people in villages who have never left their village to come to, let's say, Accra, never mind know what a Jamaican is, or the difference between a Jamaican or a Bayesian. Never mind to even know that we are them and they are us.
Yeah.
So it's to be understanding of that. And coming here, you can read it in books, you can watch documentaries, but when you see it in the day-to-day, you understand more why you are the way that you are. Elio, we understand why we face makeup and we can't hide anything. Our faces say everything we think. And then you come here and you're like, wow, you see yourself in others. And then it makes you want to ingratiate yourself more. And no matter what anybody thinks, sometimes we've been out and people have looked at us and they've said, you look like you're from this tribe, or you look like you're from this.
Yes.
That's literal mirror.
Literally. Yeah, you got that as well.
I mean, man.
When we were there.
Yes. That's the time. I go there, talk to my cousin, them say, what? It'll be a conversation. They love, especially when they hear the Jamaican accent. Yes. It's a different conversation. You get it. It's a different conversation. Well, yeah, man. Yeah. Thank you. I enjoyed that little because what do you call it? Tidbit. See, me not understand the British thing. Thank you.
So, if you guys had to do your time over again, is there anything that you would do differently? Kind of just to give those that are thinking about moving to Ghana, all right, don't forget this point. You know, we made this mistake, or we wish we knew this. Can you give someone out there ready to move to Ghana a piece of advice that they must not forget?
I would say the most important thing, Ghana, you need a network. It's necessary. Please don't think you can come to Ghana and just do it on your own.
Yes.
You could do it, but it will make your journey a million times harder. You need your network. Reach out to others who are have the same interest as you, who will be doing the same things that you're doing, whether it's a social network or a working network. Reach out to others, ask those questions, create those bonds before you even arrive here. That's exactly what you guys did with us, and that was amazing. By the time you arrived here, we're family already.
Exactly.
And it just makes the process and the journey so much easier and smoother, I've found.
Yeah, you're right, because it can get expensive. What you ready?
So I don't think I'd ever do anything differently, because it's part of the journey, the learning. What I would say is what Ghana, and not just Ghana, Africa in general, will teach you. Even if you think you're humble and you think you're patient, you're gonna get taught some lessons in humility and in patience, and they're important lessons that need to be taught to you. There's a high horse that you're gonna need to jump off that you might not even know you were on. Yeah. So if you come with that in mind and you don't come with any preconceived ideas, positive or negative, come with a neutral outlook. Come with enough finance to be able to sustain whatever trial period you're going to be in. There's lots of opportunities here for business, for entrepreneurship, and so on and so forth, for trade, import, export. but there aren't huge employment opportunities. There are Ghanaians with double master's degrees that are having to drive Uber. I'm not knocking that as a job, but that's not what they set out to do.
Yeah.
So if you're going to come into a market, a job market where there's local people, in some instances, either struggling to find work or finding work that's not fit for what they studied and invested in terms of time and money, then, and if you think that because you're coming from America or Britain and because you went to Oxford or Cambridge or wherever it is, or Yale, Harvard, that you're going to be smarter, correct that idea as well. So, and if you come with any of that mindset or attitude, there are Ghanaians here that are ready and willing to correct you.
To give you a PhD in humility. And the reality is, I think it's true. I think there are so many here who are very capable, uber intelligent. If you think of some of the top Fortune 500 companies across the globe, at the helm of those companies are, for example, Ghanaians or even Nigerians or other Africans. Please don't think that you're going to come here and because you speak the Queen's English, you're going to be popped in at the front of the line, or that I personally don't believe that is the case. I believe that if you go somewhere, you shouldn't be looking to take from there. You should be looking to see what you can bring, because you're always going to receive. So what else can you put back into the pot?
Yes, 100%. Because, we have our shameless plug, our Facebook group, Black Brits Abroad. We are very much on social media. That's how we share about FroFamily and Black Brits Abroad. And we often see people asking, what are the employment opportunities like? What's it like trying to get a job in Ghana? Not just Ghana, in many other countries that people would call developing countries. I prefer recovering countries. Calling them developing countries anymore, because every country is trying to develop. Themselves. So recovering nations, people are asking, what are the job opportunities like in those places? And I'm like, you shouldn't be coming to look for a job.
No. But they should ask themselves, what are the job opportunities like anywhere? The world has changed.
Yes.
There's been a massive shift in terms of digital transformation. There's a massive shift in terms of the pandemic, the impact that's had on certain businesses that don't exist anymore. So the notion of attaining a secure, stable job and keeping it is becoming an increasing rarity globally.
Very true.
So you need to be thinking in terms of what skills do you have that are transferable? What opportunities can you look into that you can seek to leverage? If you're coming here, the likelihood is you're coming from a community abroad, a network abroad. How can you leverage that network? There may be produce in the UK or Mexico or America, whatever it is that's required here. Similarly, there are raw materials here in abundance that you will not find elsewhere in the world. So it's just observing opportunities and going for it. I think that's the way. I don't think to say, no, you could never find a job here. I found a few people. There's a Jamaican friend we have. She's a professor, college lecturer at University of Ghana. So, we've met people that have come and found jobs, but she said she spent most of the past year on strike about her, her pay conditions, as well as with the other, local, so lectures and so on. So I think that is something to consider.
Yeah. Good point. So what do the next few years look like for you? Let's say the next 5 years. What are you guys hoping to achieve, get done? I know you said you've got your land. So are you hoping to have your home built within that time?
Horses on the land.
And another house for us to come back to when we're ready.
Yeah, definitely.
Listen, our home will always be your home. You already know this.
My head, elephant brain. You said
Take it off your head and put it in your heart.
Get a heart. Listen.
All right.
I am going to keep that in Yaso and in Yaso.
Yes.
So, yeah. Over to you. 5 years time, what the landscape look like for you guys? What's the goals?
Okay, so property and building, just as we were speaking earlier about employment opportunities, creating employment opportunities. There are certain social issues that have come across my radar as well, whether it be female empowerment, education, water. There are certain basics that some of our brothers and sisters do not have.
Yeah.
And I don't want to live I always think about the society that I want to leave behind for our children, the legacy that we want to leave behind. And within the next 5 years, that's what my fundamental goal is. It's to empower and uplift and to showcase the very best of Africa, to reassess and rewrite the narrative that when people think of Africa, I want people to think of, and not just Ghana. I know Africa isn't a country, but when I say Africa, I mean the continent of Africa. Yes. I want for people to think of Africa. When they think luxury, when they think something that's beautiful, when small Black girls and Black boys across the globe think of Africa, I want them to think of that with pride, and not just when they think of the music. I want them to be proud of being African, to call themselves African.
Yes.
So that's my goal with the next, for the rest of my life, but definitely with the next 5 years.
Yes. That's a worthwhile goal, a lifelong goal, lifelong goal to continue developing and evolving. Love it. I love it.
So for me, it's continuing to pioneer in the sense that we're the first to return for both of our 400 years, 500 years worth of generation, and to pave the way for others, for friends, family, even people we don't know, but people who actually have something meaningful that they can contribute to Africa, to Ghana. We're not interested in, people who are coming to complain, people who are coming to be a part of the problem, people coming with them long hand, as we say in yard. So it's like, that's what we're interested in, networking with those others who are doing constructive, positive, innovative things. And in that regard, we've got lots of innovative, creative ideas in the film and documentary space we're currently working on. And also in the tech space, we've got some ideas of some apps and things like that we're going to be looking to launch. So,
all right, then talk to me now. Make sure my ears is in there to that conversation.
Listen, I think one of the things with coming here is the beauty of our minds. There was a space that was taken up by stress and worry about certain things. Now that we've alleviated that, the creativity, the thoughts and processes that we have been able to develop, it's now we're having to be very strict with ourselves and say, okay, there are so many ideas. Which one are we going to go with?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we feel that.
Let's get that on the road and then we can follow on.
Yeah. I'll just give you an example. When I landed here, we were going around the markets and stuff like that. And people, you hear the expression, they say, oh, dash me 5 cities. Yeah. Dash means like, give me as a brata, as we would have said in yard. Now, I kept hearing dash. And I said, I'm going to build an app, and it's a mobile money app, and I'm going to call it Dash. And I've got the document timestamp dated in my computer. I was on LinkedIn the other day and I saw a friend here in Ghana share a news story that a Ghanaian has just raised $28 million, I think it was, to build an app called Dash. Woo! So that's the type of thing when I say we've got too many ideas. We can't keep up with the pace of things, but we'll get there.
But guess what? Once you have the idea, you're on the right frequency.
Yes.
Because no idea belongs to anyone, but if anyone else is on that same frequency as you, they will tap into that frequency bandwidth and they will continue downloading from that. So you will always have a infinite amount of ideas. That's what I've learned over the years.
Yeah.
But like you said, when you've got the freedom, your mind is free from the stress. I was literally reading about something that said exactly what you just said. When you're not distracted by the worry, the finances, whatever else, you have the space to create, because that is what we are supposed to be doing with our time, is creating and just being. And Absolutely. I love that Ghana's given you that.
The one thing I would say is, obviously finance plays its role in the world we live in, but our financial situation isn't very different to what it has been for years in the UK. So the pressure that's been alleviated is not a financial pressure. It's a societal pressure. It's the feeling of what it feels like to have been under the cosh for so long and not knowing it. It's like, when you say that weight is lifted off your shoulders. Yeah. I didn't know how heavy my shoulders were until maybe even months into being here. And it's taken some time, even now coming up to 2 years in, where I'm still having those healing, moments and emotional moments where the tears of joy, the tears of relief that I didn't even know existed. So it's not, as I said, finance plays its part, but someone smiling at you and greeting you and, offering to help you or asking you for their help, that's what matters. Money comes and it goes at the end of the day.
That's exactly. You know what I found when we're in Ghana? The most beautiful smiles I've ever seen in my entire existence is from Ghanaian children. Yeah, I've never seen such pure beauty, heavenly smiles.
Yeah, that's it.
I have to admit, I have elsewhere in Africa, and that's what you see in villages, when you see that pure innocence, uncorrupted by other things. That's what you're gonna get in Africa.
Oh man, yeah,
I love it. So for people who want to keep up with your journey
and for things you're gonna release,
where can they find you?
Over to you.
We have the same page,
Yeah. We are currently on Instagram as the Abtars, and we are on YouTube as Abtar Family Adventures. So keep up with us on Instagram. That's the most up to date. We're doing content creation. I have so much respect for content creators. When you start and you think, whoa, you think you're uber creative, and when it comes to editing, you're like, oh yeah, I've got dinner to make. It takes so much discipline. So we are more up to date on our Instagram, but please follow the YouTube to keep track of our journeys. We'll be documenting our build.
Yes.
We will be documenting our content. Will compromise. We'll be covering food, heritage, and history, and travel. So yes, keep up to date with us on that.
Oh wait, awesome! And I'll put all of that in the description as well to make it easy for everyone to find as well. One last question, if you don't mind. Are either of you reading anything currently?
Oh gosh, somebody recommended a book to me the other day, and I started a book. It's about behavioral psychology.
It's called Behave.
Yes.
Yes. I've got 2 books on the go that I'm struggling to finish, but next week I intend to bring them with me on the plane and get through. I've got Ruins of an Empire, Akala's book.
Akala, yeah.
And the CLR James, The Black Jacobins.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Okay.
Let me know what that one turned out.
Haitian Revolution and Toussaint Louverture and so on.
Okay. So basically same wavelength as with Akala's book.
Kind of, in a way, but a lot more focused on, I guess, the Haitian experience, whereas
yeah. All right.
Amazing. Wow, family. Yes. Literally family. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence, your energy.
Thank you for welcoming us on your wonderful Black Brits Abroad show.
It was a pleasure. We appreciate you so mumuch. So yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yes, we're gone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.